Hello all, this is Ruby Blow of Development Counts, and the purpose of this video is to assist those who may be interested in attending some of my continuing education workshops, specifically the ones related to clinical supervision, expressly for the purpose of obtaining the CPCS, which is the Certified Professional Counselor credential, or the ACS, which is the Approved Clinical Supervisor credential. So the CPCS is a Georgia credential, and the ACS is a national credential through the Center for Credentialing Education. Okay, so here goes. I offer about 12 workshops related to clinical supervision. They fall under the categories of foundations, things like the supervisory relationship and theory, and then methods, things like supervision evaluation, creating your supervision documentation, and then, advanced topics, things that take some of those original content a little bit further, as well as legal and ethical matters in clinical supervision. So if you are pursuing the CPCS credential in Georgia, you need to have 24 hours of continuing education in this content area if you do not have a graduate course in supervision. And if you do have a graduate course in supervision, you still need to get 12 hours of continuing ed. So I highly recommend that, because you need to have at least 6 hours of supervision ethics either way, you take advantage of any one of my 5 workshops that has ethics in the title as it relates to supervision. Any of those workshops will count towards that 6-hour requirement, with the exception of my workshop titled Ethical Considerations in Clinical Supervision and Ethical Considerations in Telemental Health. If you take both of those, that counts for 6 hours. It generally happens on one day. So the first half of the day is a 3-hour ethics and supervision workshop, and the second half is a 3-hour ethics and supervision related workshop that also counts for telemental health supervision. So I hope that makes sense. So the total of 6 hours will count for that ethics requirement, and half of the day, the second half, will also count towards telemental health. Okay, so I would recommend one of those. If you are beginning this process, I actually think that workshop would be a great place to start in terms of ethics, but really all of them are helpful. Providing guidance is helpful to understand the composite board rules and how it relates to supervising and providing ethical and competent supervision. And then also the workshop number 4 about supervision and gatekeeping and our responsibility as gatekeepers is also an ethics workshop that's really good. And then, of course, multicultural competencies in supervision as it relates to ethical practice. And then lastly, I have one about evaluation and it being an ethical mandate, which also is a supervision methods related workshop. So many of my workshops will fall in more than one category, okay? So we can sort that out if you want to shoot me an email to determine which are the best steps for you, but I'm hoping you'll find this video useful, all right? And so for those who are getting your license, your CPCS in Georgia, you also have to have another 6 hours if you already have a graduate course in supervision. They can be from any of those other content areas besides ethics, or including another ethics workshop, okay? So you'll be on ethics overload and supervision overload. And then for the 24 hours, at least 6 have to be ethics. If you're going to provide any distance supervision at all, you need to have 3 hours of telemental health supervision related training. And you also need to have a background foundation of 6 hours of telemental health training, period. That's part of the Georgia Composite Board rules. I like to partner with my colleague, Ray Barrett of the Telehealth Certification Institute for that 6-hour training. And you can learn more about that on my website on the right-hand side of the workshops page. I'm typically offering or partnering with an event with Ray, so you can find out about that there. And then one thing you should know, if you are trying to go for the ACS credential, which is the national credential via MBCC through the Center for Credentialing and Education, also known as the CCE, you need to have 45 hours of continuing education in the area of supervision. So because I offer so many workshops, you can get 45 hours of supervision training through me at Development Counts. Now, I only offer my trainings once a month. This is because I also am an active supervisor. I also provide training in the community. And quite honestly, I love doing supervision related training, but I would be burned out if I did them back to back, 2 or 3 days in a row. I know there are other providers out there. They do that, and I think they probably do a great job. So if you're really interested in expediting it, you could look out for some of those other providers here in Georgia. However, as an MBCC approved continuing education provider, my workshops are uniquely positioned to help you achieve the CPCS credential and or the ACS credential if that's what you want. Okay, so I hope you have found all this useful. You are welcome to email me and use the contact on my website. But if you have not watched this video, I'll still answer your questions, but I really appreciate those who watch this to the end. Thanks so much. Take care, everybody.